This video is filled with ideas to do fine motor activities with your older kids. Sometimes it's really hard to find fine motor activities for the older kids. We're talking 5 and up. So I have a video filled with ideas that you might want to try. Hey you guys, this is Christina from the Purple Alphabet. I have so many ideas in this video. I searched high and low for some of our favorites plus some new ones. Lots of times in the Purple Alphabet videos I'm talking about fine motor activities, and a lot of times they're for the preschool age. If you try to do those same preschool age activities with your kids, they don't exactly translate well. So that's why I thought this video would be perfect to show you some new ideas. Let's get started. I wanted to give you a whole bunch of ideas that you can take and consider when you're looking at fine motor activities for the older kids. This one's called TRiggle. It's for ages 8 and up, and it's a game that has fine motor in 2 different ways. So I'm going to just pull out the pieces here. This is from Fat Brain Toys. You have several different colors here, so you can play with multiple players, 4 different players. And it's funny because all of these yellow pieces just fell out, but I can use this as a great example of how this is fine motor. All right, so you can have 4 different players here. Each player gets a set of pegs, so these pegs go inside this little tray here, and they all just came out. But just even putting them inside this tray is one great fine motor activity just on its own. But of course, if you were a preschooler, that would actually be enough. But since we have older kids, just doing this can be a little patronizing, right? So that's why the fact that this is a game makes it that more interesting and intriguing to an older kid when they're working on fine motor activities. It's kind of hidden, if that makes sense, because a lot of the fine motor activities are meant for younger kids, and using the little tools and the tweezers and grabbing the pom-poms, using sensory bin. And I'll tell you right now, my 10-year-old who works on fine motor exercises with a therapist right now, she's not interested in that any longer. So things like this, get that practice in, and she doesn't even realize it, right? Okay, so just even setting up the game can be part of it. So you have your little game pieces here, no matter how many people you play, and then you have a set of rubber bands. The idea of this game, everybody gets some rubber bands, is you're going to make triangles. So you're supposed to put your rubber band on 4 pegs, and it always has to be connecting. So that one person starts it off, then the next person goes, 4 pegs each time. The rubber band is also fine motor, so just stretching it out and using your fingers to stretch the rubber band and putting them around these little pegs. Let me tip the board so you can see there's little pegs on there. That is also fine motor. So the object is to make a single triangle, right? So let's say it was my turn. I put my rubber band on the 4 pegs. I have now made a triangle here. I can now claim that triangle as mine. You do the whole board like this. And so you have the fine motor of the rubber bands and putting them on there. Of course, you got some great strategy in here too. And then you have the fine motor of placing your pegs inside. It's totally hidden fine motor, but in a really great way for the older kids who won't even realize that that is the skill they're working on. Isn't that fabulous? Of course, I'm just playing single player here, but you get the idea, and it'll be fun with kids. And then when you're done, even putting them back into their tray to reset up the game, and also taking off the rubber bands is also another thing to do with that. So this game, let me show you the box again, called TRiggle, is perfect for fine motor activities for the older kids. This is one we haven't even done yet, but it was a gift given to us for Christmas. It's string art. Now, you can buy a string art kit, or you can even go and get the supplies on your own and make your own string art in whatever form, shape, color you want. But this is just a pre-made kit, and I thought it might be worth mentioning it that you can get it already made. Now, we haven't used this yet at all, but I'm just going to show you what comes with. So you got a whole bunch of the embroidery floss and a whole bunch of these little pins. That's what you're going to wrap it around. You got a canvas, and this is what you're going to make your design in. This gives you the pattern for a panicorn, but you can make whatever you want. There's also another one in here. This is a Makes 2. It's just a design and a star. But you use these materials to make your string art, and by wrapping the string around those nails, you're really using that fine motor skills and to get the precision done. And it's a repetitive thing that makes a craft in the end. We've also used some other ones too. Here is one, koala one, which is from another art kit. And this one was a little bit different. It's also fallen apart here because it has notches around the cardboard pieces. So it's not going around nails. It's going through all these little notches, but it's the same thing, the same concept. It's the wrapping around repetitively that gives you that that fine motor activity. Like I said, you can go and get like a little piece of wood. You can get little nails and your own embroidery floss. I've shown kits like this that have the embroidery floss inside. You can do whatever color and design you want, but it's a really good way to hone in on that fine motor and wrapping that string around there. So I wish I had my child working on this so she could show you it, but she hasn't gotten into it yet. But a couple different variations. Making your own, doing a kit like this, or doing one that has the nails. Excellent, excellent fine motor activity. And plus you get that art project at the end. I'm going to find this kit, put it down below. I think I can find this one. And then of course, I definitely know I can show you this one because I did get this off of Amazon. You would just need some wood and nails. So be on the lookout for that. It's a really great option and a really fun one too. This next one is also an artsy one, and I have a couple of different supplies for it. So origami, you guys, these were ones that they got for Christmas that have a little Christmas theme origami paper on it. You can buy packets of origami paper in so many different colors and designs, whatever your child likes. This one had like Santa Clauses and things on it. This box I got came from Daiso. It holds origami paper, and you can see all the different varieties that we've gotten. You can also cut down your own paper to size if you prefer. That's also a good way. So by providing the origami paper, which is really inexpensive, here's some bigger ones in this box, and you can look up different origami things on computers. This box is really messy. I've even found origami paper at the Dollar Tree before. This is a Dollar Tree pad, so you can see the different patterns on there. Looks like they were practicing some here and just threw it all in here. All kinds of different ones. Found even some Super Mario ones they got from their Switch, and then some more Christmas ones. What you do is you go look up origami things on the computer, on YouTube. There's tons of tutorials. That's what my kids have done, and they have learned so many different things on how to do origami just from that alone. And this paper costs, just $1 or so, a couple dollars per package. You can also find origami books. This one's called Easy Origami that explains different ways to fold it. You can get this book. I'll put a link down below, but you can also find lots of origami books in the library too, which is another option. And even websites that put it in this form where you could print it out and have it readily available. What's great about origami is that you're working both hands doing the fine motor activity, straightening out and configuring the paper and folding it in a way that is pretty intricate. Some of these are more complicated than others. Here's one too that's a Pokemon one, just to show you that there's so many different origami books out there. This one's kind of cool because it gives you the paper so that you can do special ones, or you can use your own paper to make other ones too. So there's a lot of different Pokemon characters in here. So if your child has a favorite thing or a favorite whatever, maybe you can find that in a origami book and do that for your origami. So a really great way to just work both hands, probably some little bilateral, crossing the midline kind of stuff too, and working your fingers and your finger strength to get these folds down. So origami, actually an excellent thing. I've also found that origami was more difficult for my kids when they were younger, and now that they're 8 and 10, it's like the best thing ever. They really do enjoy it now versus when they were younger and they got frustrated. Next up, the ever popular fidget toys. Fidget toys are all the rage right now, but especially for this age group, this is a great way to introduce it. I pulled these, which are zipper bracelets. I found these at Dollar Tree, and they fit like a bracelet. So you have this clasping, which is great for the fine motor there. Opening them up, another great fine motor, and then also the zippering closed and zippering open. So this is a really disguised way of doing fine motor because it's a fidget and they don't realize that fidgets are essentially fine motor activities in themselves. Really like this one. They come 3 to a package at Dollar Tree, and this is by a name brand. So they're actually really, really nice quality, and you can't beat that because you get 3 for $1. Also wanted to mention like the infinity cube here that keeps on going over and over and over again. Once again, something to use both hands with, which is another great fidget. This was in my fidget video that I did. If I can remember, I'll put it up there in the corner. It's a whole video about all kinds of different fidgets. So if fidgets are your kids' thing and you want to do some fine motor for that older child, that might be one for you to look at too. It has so many ideas in that video. In fact, I might need to do another one because there's so many other fidgets out there. All right, so fidgets are definitely a great way to work on that fine motor, and it's something that they'll just take and go and hold with them if they're in the car like my kids do, or they're at, waiting at a restaurant, or they're just at home even watching TV that they'll play with these too. These were from Dollar Tree, but you can probably find them online. I'll see if I can find some. And then this is like the infinity cube. A long time ago, I actually did a whole video just on rainbow loom and how it's a great fine motor activity. This is like one of those oldie but goodies, but it's still working that fine motor. You can do rainbow loom using your fingers, which is actually how my child first started, but basically to make little bracelets, make little figures. I've made like a panda bear once using a YouTube video. I made a koala. Those are a little bit more complicated, but anyway, you have these little rubber bands and you're putting them over all these little pegs here with your fingers. So this is a great way to get that fine motor practice in because these pegs are pretty close together and the rubber bands themselves are pretty small. So when you're actually setting up your loom, it's really good fine motor work. In addition to that, you have this little tool here that you use to pull the rubber bands through to create the bracelet. So that's another great fine motor thing, and control, pen control. And then you can get other fun things to go along with it, like this Loom band refill kit. This was a lot of fun, and it has so many different colors in here that you can create your own bracelets or necklaces or creations. But you can see how small they are. So when you're working these little rubber bands over that loom, that's where that fine motor activity comes into play. There's also tons of YouTube videos on how to make all kinds of different creations. Like I said, I made the panda once, and that was a lot of fun. This is very inexpensive and you can reuse it over and over and over again. So this is a definite must-have. They recommend it for ages 8 and up, but you can probably start a little bit younger. They just might get a little frustrated. So check that out. So this is the actual loom. It does come with rubber bands, so you can get started with that. But if you're into it, you're going to want to get more because they're going to want to do more and more colors. I also wanted to mention this one here, which was in my Christmas favorites video too. It's the Friendship Bracelet Maker. This is what it looks like. I kind of talked a little bit more about the details of what it comes with, but it comes with embroidery thread with it that's pre-cut, and then you can make friendship bracelets with it. Now I like this because for fine motor practice, this helps keep all your thread organized. You don't need this tool to make friendship bracelets. Let's just say that, because when I was younger, we did not have this tool. And we made friendship bracelets like using a clipboard, actually, if I remember correctly. Anyone else do that? We definitely did that. Anyway, it has this clip up here that holds your thread. We put a little tape to kind of keep it steady. This is a bracelet she's working on, and she's new at this. And you can tell she's new because her knots aren't that tight and they're a little messy, but that's okay. That's the whole reason why we're doing it, is for practicing. Also, very intricate knot work here. So this little organizer down here keeps all of your threads separated in the order that they need to be knotted. So if I was actually doing this, I would separate all of these out in the little notches, and it keeps them all separated. Now with the friendship bracelets, you're actually just making a knot. So you're using your hands. I'm probably not making the right one here. I don't know where she left off. And you would tie it up and it would create a knot there. So you would do this over and over and over, have that repetitive motion, but you're going to see a result as they create the knots in the friendship bracelet. You can use a lot more threads to make a lot more knots. You can use a couple if you're just starting out, but it is a nice way to practice your fine motor because you are really working on a long pattern of knots to create the bracelets. Now this little maker isn't too expensive, and it does come with the thread, which is great. But like I said, you don't need the maker if you don't want to. You could just buy the thread. I already showed you the little box that I have here, and this is something I got off Amazon. One, I like that it comes with the container because we all know I love being organized. Did want to point out too, the book, I had mentioned this in the other video, but there are little books you can get that talk about more complicated designs, more variations on how to do those specialty looks and stuff. So if this is something your child really, really enjoys and when they want to advance, then I would consider looking into this book to get even more ideas. And they have other projects in here that you can make too. I'm going to put up here on screen a video about the fine motor activities with the rainbow loom. Make sure to go and check that one out. I'll see you over there. Click subscribe to see more videos like this and give me a thumbs up to show your love.